let's take a look at this one, because this is the one I'm fixated on right now. Oh my gosh, and now this is what I'm going for, baby. This is what I work for. This is why we garden. I grow it, I cook it, and farm to table. Broccoli, peppercorn, and basil. Zucchini's a staple. I never thought I'd see potting mix or ant colonies in COVID quarantine. About to hit the garden up. The name's aLJo, I farm it up. I got seeds, I got time. Plus I'm hungry, so let's start it up. Let's go! aLJo, quarantine, gardening. In COVID-19. During a time of such uncertainty and anxiety, it is so important to have a purpose in your daily life. You can take control of your diet, get in touch with your human roots, and create your own solution to food insecurity. Make the best of this quarantine by growing what you eat. Gang, we're back in the garden, but I have a bit of a dilemma. I have a ton of corn here, but this side did not at all pollinate on its own. As you can see, the silks are white. I guess none of the things were pollinated by the wind, whereas the other row of my corn got completely pollinated. Look at the difference in the silk color. So I'm gonna actually have to hand pollinate these using a skill I learned from Epic Gardening. I'm gonna cut one of these off because the pollen is actually within these little pods here. You can kind of see the pollen, but that's what's in these pods that are hanging out. So I'm gonna use this technique. I'm gonna cut off the whole thing and then basically paint it like a paintbrush onto the silk. Whoops. Each individual silk here, each strand is actually a kernel within the corn. And if not all of them are pollinated, then you're actually gonna have some empty kernel spots, which we don't want. We want to try to get it perfect, so let's see how this works. And we'll see in a couple days whether they turn brown. So here's my corn again. I just hand pollinated the right side, and as you can see, this side, as I pointed out, started to get pollinated already, but this side I had to hand pollinate, which is not looking too good. I don't know how long it takes, but it's still not seeing any sign except for here. You're seeing a sign of pollination, which it starts to turn darker, but these are still very light. Last time we hand pollinated, these silks were pure white, but look at them now. They look to be affected now, which is great news. And I just hope that they continue to produce. This will be a nice experiment and a test to determine whether the hand pollinating was more successful than the wind pollination, just to see what the difference is in production, success rate, and even flavor. So let's just keep watching. All right, 2 weeks passed. The corn is pretty much done. As you can see, the sides that I hand pollinated are completely finished, ready to be harvested. It's all a learning process, and as you can see, I've been able to get something out of it. So let's check what that is. Bend it, twist it right out, just like that. Harvest it. Let's peel back some of these ears and see what we got. Ah, look at this. Not great. I'm not sure why it's pollinated at the top or the bottom rather than the top, but it is, I think, usable still. And although the top isn't quite pollinated, this is looking excellent. I still get about 2 ears from each corn stalk, and what a feeling to be able to take a seed from a nursery, plant it in the ground, and be able to come out with something like this months later. And this is gonna be tasty. I love sweet corn, grown in Jersey. So this is aLJo's corn. Let's go. I did plant 2 different types of corn. One was Bodacious, one was Incredible. Bodacious is on this side, but right now I'm harvesting the Incredible, and we'll see the difference in corn. Pretty small. So somehow the pollination was either late or just not full enough, and so it didn't quite make any kernels. I'm looking for good kernels, I'm looking for no bugs, and then I'm also looking for just to see what kind of ratio I have in terms of success. First year, 1 for 2, not too bad in my opinion. Let's get to it. Ah, this is actually a very good one. I did plant 2 different types of corn. In fact, let me pick a Bodacious right now to see what it looks like. Most of them did not pollinate correctly, and you can see they're spotted here, even though the silks up here look brown. You See, this one is much bigger. Ah, yes, that looks a lot better. This side looks like it was unpollinated just in this line, which is interesting, but everywhere else, it looks pretty good. This one is the Bodacious. This one is the Incredible. I would say the kernels on the Bodacious are a little bit more robust, a little bit fatter. All right, let's keep going down the Bodacious line. Ooh, this is looking good. That's like a half success, but it's still success. This one, not so good. The browning may have just been because of the sun. If these silks were pollinated, this would have been a full cob, but clearly nothing here at all. Alrighty, next one up. Yeah, this is a lot better than I thought. Not a terrible ear. Let's keep it rolling. Let's see what else we got here. Ah, yep. Overall, this is a dud. This is the last of the Bodacious. Let's see if it's a successful one. Ah, so yeah, this is extremely small. It's actually rather cute. Aw, look at this. Oh wow, look at this. It's lopsided. And I got one more. Wow. Ooh, not a bad one. This is one of my more successful ones. I think we can call this a win. Let's go. We're done on the Bodacious side. Now let's look at all the rest of the Incredible. So this is actually the second one that I found on one of the stalks. Number 2, you can clearly tell just based on the size, the skinniness, that it is not pollinated at all. Look at that, nothing. So this one I know is a dud. I'm not even gonna check it. This one, clearly a lot better. Oh yeah, not great. This may have been because when I went to hand pollinate it, it was a little bit late. So make sure as soon as the silks emerge, before the cob even looks like a cob, you wanna make sure you get this pollen from the top. There's some kind of shit on this. And again, not great here. This is my first year of intensely gardening, and although I have a high standard, I'm still considering this a success because it's all a learning experience. All right, let's see if we got one. Ooh, and I like that already. I like that. To me, this is still a success. Oh, shit. I just pulled from a stalk that had 2 corns like this, right? So one was on the bottom, one was on the top. This one is clearly a dud, but let's take a look at this one because this is the one I'm fixated on right now. Oh my gosh, and now this is what I'm going for, baby. This is what I work for. This is why we garden. This is beyond a success for me. Let's see what we got here. Oh, and I like that so far. I semi-like that so far. You got a bit of an empty row here. So now I got 2 more corns left. This was from one stalk, and this one is looking much better. I'm throwing that out. Let me get right in there. Ooh, and look at this. The bottom parts are really nice.
Now that I've harvested all 16 stalks of corn, it is time to tally the totals. For the 8 stalks that I hand pollinated, even though I had a slightly lower pollination rate, I was able to harvest 4 more ears total, 2 of those being fully pollinated and ready to eat.
We're gonna taste this, see how the corn came out, and really compare the flavor between the 2 types that I grew. I'm gonna boil these in some salted water, put some butter on this, and call it a day. This one's a little less perfect, but still plenty of kernels to taste. So what I did here was I cooked it for about 7 minutes, short enough to have the kernels be tender, soft, but remain juicy. And this just looks gorgeous. And look at this one, gorgeous as well. Time for some butter. And now for the moment we've all been waiting for, but mostly me, because I am hungry. I'm gonna review it, taste each one, see which one I like better. So let's start it off. This one is delicious. It's got bigger kernels for a juicier bite, which is always good. I really think this is a more flat, roughage type flavor, but it has a really nice taste with the butter and the salt. So let's try the other one. These kernels are a lot more consistent in both size and texture. Extremely sweet. A lot more flavorful and sweeter than the first one I just ate, but that is just a delicious bite. A whole bite of just perfect
ear of corn, absolutely excellent. I am so thrilled that I was able to see this through. My first year trying corn ever, but this one is special to me because I'm a Jersey boy, and you know Jersey, we are known for our sweet corn, and this just, I think, lives up to it. aLJo's garden, always producing fantastic produce. Next year, I'm definitely doing corn again, and I'm really hoping that I'll get even better at it because of the self-pollinating that I've learned and the process involved. So, really looking forward to this next season. So good. Don't forget to like, because I love this. Don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to comment.
If you want to take your freshly grown corn to the next level, find yourself a delicious corn chowder recipe.
I grow it, I cook it, I'm farm to table. Cauliflower, okra, eggplant, and basil. Zucchini, that's a staple. I'm about to hit my garden up. The name is aLJo, yeah, I farm it up. I got seeds and I got time, and I'm pretty hungry, to be honest, so it started up. Never thought I'd see potting mix and ant colonies in COVID quarantine. Whether for fun, to find peace of mind, or to combat glaring food inequities, it is time to start taking ownership of your food supply. Break free from food insecurity and food apartheid by starting a container garden today. Not tomorrow, not next week. All right, fine, you can start on the weekend. I get it, you're busy with other stuff. But start growing ASAP, because you'll never find a hobby as mentally gratifying and stomach-filling as gardening is. It takes less than 30 minutes a day and saves lots of cash in the long term. Join me in uplifting yourself, your family, and our community for generations to come.